Welcome back, everyone. Ready to dive deep?
Always up for a deep dive.
Awesome. Well, today we're tackling something that can really stir up some trouble in relationships.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Retroactive jealousy. Have you ever felt that?
It's a beast. That feeling when your partner's past feels like it's right there in your face, like a present threat.
Ugh, yes. Like you're suddenly competing with ghosts of relationships past.
Exactly. And it can be so all-consuming. It's not just regular, run-of-the-mill jealousy.
Right. Like it's one thing to feel a little insecure now and then, but this is next level stuff.
Totally. It's an obsession almost. You fixate on the past, stuff you can't change, experiences you weren't even a part of.
It's the worst. Like say you find out your partner who's otherwise amazing, had a bit of a wild phase way back when.
Oh yeah, been there.
Your mind just goes into overdrive. You start picturing everything, replaying scenarios that happened before you even knew them.
Yep.
You're basically directing and starring in this mental movie of their past relationships. And it plays on a loop, nonstop.
And it can be so damaging, not just for the person going through it, but for the whole relationship.
Absolutely. It creates this toxic undercurrent that can erode trust and intimacy.
It's wild though, right? This isn't just some new age dating drama. This feeling has been around forever. I mean, think about it. John Lennon's Jealous Guy.
Classic example.
Practically the anthem for retroactive jealousy. And in film, Ingmar Bergman's Faithless is another one. Heavy, but powerful.
So true. It just shows you how this emotion has resonated with people throughout history and art.
Okay, so how do we figure out if those pangs of jealousy are just a normal blip, or if they're like a giant red flag waving in our face?
You got to be real with yourself, like really honest.
Tough, but necessary, right?
If your partner is constantly doing things that hurt you, betraying your trust, or just living by a totally different set of values,
Those jealous feelings might be a sign of something bigger.
exactly, something fundamentally off in the relationship.
Yeah.
It's not about placing blame, though. This deep dive is about empowering you, the listener, to understand your own emotions,
Regardless of whether you're single, coupled up, it doesn't matter. This is about you.
owning your feelings, and figuring out how to navigate them in a healthy way.
Love that.
But how do we stop dwelling on something that's already in the past?
Yeah.
Something we can't change.
Right. It can feel impossible, like trying to unscramble an egg.
Ugh, yes. So frustrating.
What if I told you we're more like whirlpools than scrambled eggs?
Whirlpools. Okay, now you've got my attention. Go on.
Think about it. Our cells are constantly renewing, right? We're literally not the same people we were yesterday, physically and emotionally.
Wow. I never thought about it like that.
Just like a whirlpool, we're in constant motion, changing, flowing. It's not a static thing.
So are you saying our partners aren't defined by their past either? That
Yeah.
they've changed and evolved just like we have?
Exactly. The people they were with, the experiences they had, yeah, those have left their mark, but they don't define who they are today.
I love that.
Think about a band. Their early music might be your absolute favorite,
Oh, I have so many bands like that.
but they've grown since then, right? Tried new things, collaborated with different artists. They're still the same band at their core, but their music shows how they've evolved.
That is such a good analogy. And it actually reminds me of something I heard once, this idea that jealousy can be a gift. At first I thought, are you kidding me?
I know, right? Sounds crazy.
But honestly, looking back, it did push me to grow, to confront some of my own insecurities.
That's so powerful. It is uncomfortable for sure. But jealousy, like any strong emotion, it can really push us to become better versions of ourselves.
Yeah.
And those positive changes, facing those insecurities, it doesn't just benefit your romantic relationships, it kind of ripples out.
It's like a chain reaction of growth.
Exactly. You grow as a person, and that affects all your relationships, your work, everything. It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
Totally. I've definitely felt that in my own life.
I know, me too. It's funny, I heard this saying once, jealousy is just love and hate at the same time.
Yeah. Such a weird mix of emotions.
It is. It's messy, but it can also be this driving force. It pushes us to work on ourselves.
So true. Okay, but here's a question for you and for everyone listening. Would your partner's past even bother you if you were totally 100% secure in yourself?
Wow, that's a deep one.
It is. I think so much of this retroactive jealousy comes from those insecurities we all carry around. Like for guys especially, there's all this pressure to define their worth by how many women they've been with.
Ugh, yeah. That whole scoring mentality.
It's so toxic. It just fuels those feelings of inadequacy. Like, dude, you are so much more than that.
Right. It's like that whole James Bond thing. Does James Bond ever sit around worrying about his partner's past?
Never.
He's confident. And confidence is attractive, you know? It's empowering.
Totally. Confidence is like a superpower. And the more secure you feel in yourself, the less those shadows from the past can haunt you.
Couldn't agree more. But, okay, silencing those jealous thoughts. Easier said than done, right?
The million-dollar question. Is there a magic word? A quick fix?
I wish. But there is something powerful you can do. Silence.
Wait. You mean stop talking about it?
Yep,
But isn't open communication supposed to be the key to a healthy relationship?
absolutely. But when it comes to this kind of jealousy, constantly rehashing the past, especially if it's fueled by insecurity, it can be super destructive.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like it just keeps the wound open.
Exactly. It can turn into this downward spiral of negativity, you know? It hurts both of you.
Makes sense. So instead of constantly trying to get reassurance, which, let's be honest, often makes things worse.
You focus on yourself. Remember, you can't control your partner, their past, any of that, but you can control how you react.
Taking responsibility for our own emotional well-being instead of trying to control the uncontrollable.
Exactly. You got it. And that brings us to a key idea for finding peace in relationships, in life, you name it. Embracing impermanence.
Whew. Getting all zen on me. Love it.
Uh-huh. But seriously, think about it. Everything changes, right? Relationships evolve, feelings come and go. Life itself is temporary.
Right?
It's kind of a paradox. But accepting that nothing lasts forever, even the painful stuff, that can actually be incredibly freeing.
So instead of getting stuck on how we think things should be, we just kind of go with the flow, even if it's messy.
Exactly. Letting go of those expectations. Surrendering to the fact that we can't control everything, especially not the past.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
And try this. Write down the affirmation. I choose to let go because it is the only and therefore wisest option. Just repeat it. Let it really sink in.
I like that. You know, when I was going through this whole retroactive jealousy thing, I used to create these documents on my computer. I called them Today documents. And I'd fill them with positive affirmations all about myself.
Wow. I love that.
It might sound cheesy, but honestly, it really helped. It was like I was trying to rewrite my own story, you know?
Not cheesy at all. It's so smart. You were tapping into the power of self-talk, which is huge.
I'm a big believer in self-talk now.
Me too. What we tell ourselves, it shapes our reality. It influences how we act, how we see the world.
So if you're stuck in a loop of negative thoughts, you can actually break free by intentionally feeding your mind positive affirmation.
Exactly. Focus on who you want to be, the qualities you want to embody, and start planting those positive seeds. It might feel weird at first, but trust me, those affirmations, they take root. They grow.
I love that imagery. And it reminds me of something I heard once. Someone compared thoughts to clouds. And at first I was like, huh. But the more I thought about it,
Yeah.
it made so much sense.
Tell me more.
It's like those jealous thoughts are these dark, stormy clouds, and they can just take over our whole mental sky, you know?
Such a great analogy. Like, picture yourself on a beach. You're watching the clouds drift across the sky. They form, they change shape, they merge, and eventually they disappear.
I love that.
Thoughts are like that. They come and go. They're not permanent. They don't define you.
So instead of getting swept away in that storm, we could just observe those thoughts
Right.
without judgment, knowing they'll pass, just like the clouds.
Exactly. And this is so helpful for dealing with intrusive, jealous thoughts. When they pop up, don't resist, don't judge, just acknowledge them, be curious about them, and let them float on by.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But what about those triggers? You know, certain things, a song, a place, even social media posts that can just send me spiraling.
Triggers are real, and they can be intense. In those early stages, when you're first dealing with retroactive jealousy, it's wise to minimize your exposure as much as possible.
So like unfollow certain people on social media, avoid certain places, create playlists without those emotionally charged songs.
You got it. It's not about avoiding reality, it's about being intentional with your well-being. It's like taking a break from a noisy environment to give your ears a rest. You're not pretending the noise isn't there, you're just giving yourself space.
That's a great way to put it, creating space for those emotional wounds to heal.
Exactly. But you're right, all this mental work, it can be exhausting.
It can. It's a workout for the brain.
Haha, it is. So, is there a way to quiet the mind, to find some peace in all that inner turmoil? Well, there is, and it's called meditation.
Okay, meditation, I've heard a lot about it. But there are so many different types, right?
There are.
Like mantra meditation, mindfulness, guided meditations. It can feel overwhelming.
It can. The best advice I can give is to experiment. Try different approaches, see what clicks for you.
It's not about emptying your mind, right?
Right.
It's more about noticing the thoughts and not letting them carry you away.
You got it. Like watching those mental clouds, remembering they're just passing through.
And the more you practice, the easier it gets. You can find that peace, even when those jealous thoughts are swirling around.
Exactly. And we've talked a lot about the mental side of things.
Right.
But I've found that taking care of my physical health makes a huge difference, too.
Oh, totally. It's all connected, right?
It is. When you nourish your body, good food, exercise, sleep, all that.
You can handle stress better.
Absolutely. And that emotional turmoil that comes with jealousy, it's easier to manage when you feel good physically.
It's like building resilience, not just in your body, but in your mind, too.
Exactly. And while we're talking about resilience, another thing that helps, surrounding yourself with good stuff.
Oh, yeah. Positive people, music, books, all that.
You got it. Anything that nourishes your soul helps you stay focused on the good.
It's like a positive feedback loop, right? You
Yeah.
feed your mind good stuff and it starts to generate more good stuff.
Exactly. It's pretty amazing. And on that note, I have one more exercise that can be really helpful, especially for letting go of those lingering negative feelings that fuel jealousy.
Okay, I'm all ears. What is it?
Write 2 letters.
2 letters.
The first one is to your partner.
Okay.
And in this letter, let it all out. All the hurt, anger, resentment, everything you've been holding back. Don't hold back.
Wow.
Just pour it all out onto the page. But here's the thing. You're not going to send it.
Oh. So just write it and
Burn it, tear it up, whatever feels good.
a symbolic release.
Exactly. The point is to get those emotions out of your system.
Like a controlled explosion.
Yeah. Get it all out there. Okay, then write the second letter. This one is to yourself.
Oh, myself. What do I say?
In this letter, you forgive yourself. Acknowledge your struggles, your insecurities, your mistakes, but be kind to yourself. Offer yourself compassion and understanding.
This is about self-love, right?
Yeah.
Remembering that we're all imperfect, we're all on this journey.
Exactly. And forgiveness is essential for moving forward. We can't change the past, but we can learn from it. And we can treat ourselves with kindness.
Love that. So powerful.
It is.
Well, as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of retroactive jealousy, what are some of the key things we've learned?
It's messy, for sure. It is.
And it's often rooted in those insecurities, that feeling of wanting to control things we just can't control. But the good news is it can be overcome.
Absolutely. It takes effort, though.
Yeah, it does. It takes self-awareness, taking action, and being willing to shift your mindset.
We talked about letting go of expectations, accepting that things change, that nothing lasts forever.
And we explored those powerful tools for creating positive self-talk and quieting the mind through things like meditation.
Remember, self-care is crucial. Taking care of your physical and mental health makes a huge difference. And surrounding yourself with positive influences, those uplifting people, experiences, it all adds up.
It does. It's all about building that resilience, that inner strength.
And remember, listener, you have the power to choose. You can let those jealous feelings control you, or you can use them to grow, to transform.
So here's one final thought for everyone out there. What would your relationship, your life even look like if you channeled all that energy into becoming the best version of yourself?
What if you stopped dwelling on the past and focused on creating a future filled with joy, love, and fulfillment?
That's a powerful question. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Keep exploring the ideas we've talked about and trust that you have the strength to overcome any challenge.
You got this.